has made it very clear in his recent interview that the border is not open, effectively that it's closed, except for these unaccompanied minors right now under humanitarian grounds for being welcomed into the U.S. But as we speak, crews from multiple outlets, including those from NBC News, are at the border. They're seeing many migrant families being accepted, young families being accepted into the country right now. So can you square those two when the message was that families and individuals were being sent home, but unaccompanied minors were being kept? Why young families are in fact being kept here in the U.S. And detained?
Well, we've talked about this a little bit in here before, we are still applying Section 42, which, and with the exception is, of course, unaccompanied minors. There are limited scenarios, limited circumstances where we are very limited, I should say, where families are coming across, going through proper protocols at the border, being tested, and then having their cases adjudicated. Part of this is that, part of the reasoning is that of course, we've closed Matamoros, and there has been some less participation in keeping some of these families in Mexico than in the past. In many of these policies we have supported, but the vast majority of people, vast majority who come to the border are turned away. The border is not open. These are very limited scenarios.
Sorry, I just swallowed some mask here.
It's okay. We've all been there.
How limited is very limited? How many are being allowed in as it relates to families? And specifically, if the message that the president was sending this week is that the border is not open, what is the message to those families, given some are being allowed in right now?
The message continues to be, I'd be happy to provide you the numbers. I think CBP has the most up-to-date numbers, so I'd point you to them, and they provide those regularly. We'd certainly support that. I don't have them in front of me right now. I would say the message continues to be, now is not the time to come. The vast majority of families, of individuals, are sent back, are not welcomed across the border, and that's a message we will continue to convey clearly.
And just to follow up, you talked about how the president saw those photos in one of the recent briefings as it relates to these shelters, detention centers, decompression centers. I'm not sure what specific photos he saw. We asked yesterday, we'll ask again today, can you provide those? Will you provide those to the American public to see what it looks like there right now?
Well, first let me say that the White House and we all in the administration support finding a way to grant access to the media, to the HHS and OR facilities or the shelters where these children are staying for a temporary period of time before they are placed with family members or with sponsored homes. The Office of Refugee Resettlement has not been hosting, as you've noted, media tours of unaccompanied children facilities currently due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but we remain committed to transparency, and we're considering potential options, and we hope to have an update on that soon.
So even if we didn't get a tour, can you provide us the photos that the president was provided?
There was a private briefing, an internal briefing from several weeks ago. We typically don't provide those materials publicly, but we do want you to be able to, or a pool of media, to be able to have your own visuals and get your own footage of these facilities.